In the last 12 months, the AUM of exchange-traded funds has seen a growth of 72%. That's nearly double the growth of the entire mutual fund industry. India is finally opening up to passive investing, and in the future, ETFs might become one of the most popular equity products. Welcome to another video of Finity. So in today's video, I'll explain ETFs right from the beginning, and we'll try to understand why it is a very good product for most of the retail investors. Let's begin. To understand ETFs, we have to first understand the meaning of an index. An index is a basket of stocks that tries to replicate a certain part of the market. These baskets can be categorized based on different metrics like market cap, industries, or any other theme. So for example, Bank Nifty is a basket of banking stocks, while Nifty 50 is a basket of the top 50 stocks in India. I've already explained index in a previous video. The link is in description. You should check it out. Now, ETFs or exchange-traded funds allocate your funds to these different indices. Now, ETFs are not just focused on the equity markets. It can invest in equity, bonds, commodities, currencies, etc. As the name suggests, you can buy and sell these exchange-traded funds from the stock exchange just like you buy and sell stocks. इन्हें आप सीधा ओपन मार्केट से खरीद सकते हैं. तो अगर आपने आज सुबह एक ETF खरीदा और 2 घंटे बाद आपको लगा कि ये ETF आपके पोर्टफोलियो के लिए अच्छा नहीं है, you can just sell it off just like you buy or sell stocks. These things are not possible with mutual funds because in the case of MFs, your orders are only settled at the end of a trading day, and you buy mutual funds from the fund house and not from the open market. Now, the most popular type of ETFs are the ones that track or copy an index. So in India, the most popular ETFs are Nifty Bs and Junior Bs, which copy the Nifty 50 and Nifty Next 50 index. If you have seen our previous video on index funds, you might have noticed that there are a lot of similarities between ETFs and index funds, but they are not exactly the same. There are a few primary differences. First, the way they are traded. ETFs trade like stocks, so you can buy or sell ETFs throughout the day on the stock exchange, and that's why its price keeps fluctuating. So if you and I bought an ETF on the same day, the prices might differ depending on what time we purchased it. But in the case of mutual funds, all the orders are executed after the trading stops every day. This means all the investors will receive the same price. Cost. While index funds and ETFs are both very cost effective, the cost of an index ETF is generally lower than the cost of an index tracking mutual fund. That's because in the case of ETFs, most of the work is being done between the buyers and sellers directly. So managers का ज़्यादा involvement नहीं होता है. Hence, ETFs have a slightly lower fees than the index funds. Third, transparency. Just like stocks, the holdings of an ETF are reported daily. But in the case of index funds and mutual funds, the portfolio disclosure happens on a monthly basis or a quarterly basis. But it's not a very big deal because in the case of index funds, they are just copying an index. तो अगर आप उस benchmark index के components देख लोगे, तो आपको उस index fund के holdings भी समझ आ जाएंगे. So these were a few differences between an index fund and an ETF. We know that an ETF is a basket of stocks. Let's discuss how this basket is created. Imagine there is a fruit vendor. This fruit vendor is selling 4 fruits: apples, oranges, watermelons, and bananas. Along with selling these fruits separately, he's also selling ready-made baskets of all these fruits. तो मान लो आपको 1 किलो बनाना या 1 किलो एप्पल नहीं खरीदना, तो आप उस 1 किलो का बास्केट खरीद सकते हो जिसमें एप्पल्स भी है, थोड़ा बहुत, थोड़ा वाटरमेलन है, थोड़ा ऑरेंजेस है, थोड़ा बनानास है. Basically, this basket is an assortment of all these fruits, and the price of this basket is basically the sum of all the underlying fruits. In this example, the individual fruits are stock. So orange is stock 1, apple is stock 2, watermelon is stock 3, and banana is stock 4. And these basket of fruits are exchange traded funds. And the market at which you can buy and sell these fruit baskets is our stock exchange like NSE or BSE. Now you are a retail investor who wants to buy 5 of these fruit baskets. So the vendor has 5 baskets ready, so he gives you the 5 baskets and charges you according to the price of the underlying fruits. Easy business. Now let's say it's Diwali and you are hosting a party where you want to gift every guest of yours a fruit basket. तो आप दुकान वाले के पास जाते हो और 500 फ्रूट बास्केट्स ऑर्डर करते हो, लेकिन उस दुकानदार के पास 500 फ्रूट बास्केट्स है ही नहीं. अब ये दुकानदार बाकी दुकानों में भी जाके ये फ्रूट बास्केट्स की इंक्वायरी करता है, बट किसी के पास भी 500 फ्रूट बास्केट्स नहीं है. Now by applying the basics of demand and supply, the prices of these fruit baskets will suddenly skyrocket because there is a very high demand, but the market does not have the supply of 500 baskets. तो इन फ्रूट बास्केट्स के प्राइस बढ़ जाएंगे, लेकिन जो इंडिविजुअल फ्रूट्स के प्राइस है वो तो अभी भी सेम है. दिस विल मेक द फ्रूट बास्केट्स वेरी इनएफिशिएंट. आई मीन, व्हाई वुड एनीवन परचेज दीज फ्रूट बास्केट्स व्हेन दे कुड जस्ट बाय इंडिविजुअल फ्रूट्स एट अ लोअर प्राइस? तो अब इसका सोल्यूशन क्या है? द सोल्यूशन इज अ स्मार्ट गाय. स्मार्ट गाय सीज दैट देयर इज अ डिमांड फॉर these baskets. So if she just picks the fruits from the open market, packages them and creates basket, then she can make a free profit between the price of these baskets and the price of the underlying fruits. So she'll exactly do that. She'll buy the stocks from the market, take it to a packaging guy, and then sell the baskets in the open market. So who is this smart guy? These middlemen are called authorized participants. They are basically big banks and financial institutions. These authorized participants constantly buy and sell baskets in the open market. So the price of the stocks and the price of the baskets, which are ETFs, are as close as possible. And the packaging guy which I mentioned are just the companies which create these ETFs like Nippon, SBI, etc. Now let's understand the reverse of this process. In this case, you want to sell the 500 fruit baskets. So the supply of these fruit baskets are more than the demand. So in this case, the price of the fruit baskets will significantly go down while the price of the underlying fruits are still the same. तो ऐसे केस में वापस बास्केट का प्राइस और फ्रूट के प्राइस में बहुत ज्यादा अंतर आ जाएगा. Now the smart guys will buy the baskets from us, go to the packaging guy and say that we don't need these baskets anymore. Just give me the underlying fruits of these baskets. और जैसे ही वो फ्रूट्स उनके हाथ में आता है वो ओपन मार्केट में बेच देगा. बिकॉज ऑफ दिस सेलिंग प्रेशर द प्राइस ऑफ द अंडरलाइंग फ्रूट्स विल ऑल्सो गो डाउन एंड नाउ द प्राइस ऑफ द फ्रूट बास्केट एंड द प्राइस ऑफ फ्रूट्स विल अगेन बी क्लोज टू ईच अदर. दिस इज द क्रिएशन एंड रिडेम्पशन प्रोसेस एंड इट्स extremely important because it ensures that the price of ETFs and the underlying stocks are very close to each other. Moving on to the next part, how do we assess whether an ETF is good or not? The first thing to look at is category. If you want to buy large cap stocks and want to diversify your portfolio, then you can invest in the Nifty 50 index by buying a Nifty 50 ETF. If you think that a metal sector will go up in the next few months, then you can buy an ETF that tracks the metal industry. The second is the size of an ETF. ETF's biggest advantage over index funds is its liquidity, high AUM and daily volume. This ensures that the difference between the buy and sell price of an ETF is as close as possible. So higher the liquidity, lower the difference between the buy and sell price of an ETF, which is always better for an investor. Third is expense ratio. It is the fee that ETF companies charge for managing your money. So lower the expense ratio, better for the investor, because this expense ratio is essentially reducing your profits. Fourth is how well is the ETF tracking its benchmark index. So if the Nifty 50 index has given a return of around 12% in the last 3 months, then the best Nifty 50 ETF will be the one which has given the returns closest to 12%. Now an ETF will generally give a slightly lower return than the index because of a lot of reasons like expense ratio, then there is average spread and also some other reasons. But you need to make sure that the gap between the index's returns and the ETF's returns is not very high. So these were some factors that you need to look at before buying an ETF. Moving on to the last part, how to buy an ETF. It's very simple. You just need a Demat account. This is the same account which you use to buy and sell shares in the stock market. And second is you need to do your own research and use the pointers that I've mentioned in this video so that you can pick out the best ETFs for your needs. ETFs coming super soon on Finity. That's all for today's video, guys. But before I go, I have a question for you. Which is the biggest ETF in India right now in terms of volume and which company is running this ETF? मुझे अभी के अभी comment section में बताओ. And if you found anything valuable in this video, then please hit the like button and subscribe to Finity's YouTube channel. Goodbye and have a nice day.